At 17 years old, about a month after I graduated high school, I was looking for a job, and the best job I could find was UPS. Never intended for it to be a career, but they were paying a little bit more than nothing. So started delivering packages and didn't do so well in college, so continued to deliver packages and continued to deliver packages and continued to deliver packages. And 20 years later, still delivering packages. And I really thought that was as good as it was ever going to get. I was going to do this until I couldn't do it anymore. 22 stops an hour, whatever else they told me to do. But thank God for Visalus.
You know, when I was a kid, they said you're a loser, they said you're a dummy, they said you'll never amount to anything. I believed that. And I started just doing meaningless jobs. Working in a fish camp, working in a photo lab, carpenter, commercial fisherman. I had 11 jobs before I was 18 years old. Couldn't keep one. Even quit school because I believed them so much. And then one day I realized I didn't have to live the story that someone else wrote for me. I could write my own story and live it.
After high school, I was told to go and find a good job. So I did that. And for 20 years, I sat behind a desk every single day, trading hours for dollars, barely making it. And I thought that if I was loyal to my job, that I would, everything would be okay. But after 20 years of getting passed over for promotions, 20 years of spending more time at work than with my family, I just did not have any fulfillment. 3 years ago, I found my home. I found my place. And now I'm happy to say I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom with my kids, and I am walking in my calling.
I was raised in a very religious family. My father worked, my mom did not. And that was all I ever knew. So with 5 kids and my husband not working, the only job I thought I was even qualified for was working the midnight shift at a drive-through fast food restaurant. With our marriage on the line and losing our home and our family, Visalus has truly changed our life.
I was always raised from a young age to find a good job. 16 years later, as a local telephone technician, I thought it was normal to work 14, 15 hours a day, 60, 65 hours a week. I thought it was normal for my 5-year-old son to ask my mom, does Daddy live at home anymore, because he never saw me. I thought that was normal. And thank God for this opportunity 3 years ago. And thank God for Visalus.
All my life I wanted to be a millionaire and be successful and have a great life. First started out, I wanted to play football. And at age 22, I finally got drafted to play football professionally. Had a career-ending injury in training camp. Growing up, 3 doors down from me was one of my good friends in high school, Tom Green. We started doing comedy together from 14 years old. He said, let's go to New York or to California and we can do this thing together, bro, and make it. I had a young family, I couldn't go, I let him go on his own. Many of you know Tom Green today. I started rapping at a young age. I thought that was my ticket to make it. We had to go to New York and Los Angeles, a bunch of places. My DJ, Kevin Risto, won a Grammy for making a song with 50 Cent and Dr. Dre. I couldn't do it, so I gave up on all my dreams to get a job at Costco. Something safe, something that gave me dental, benefits for medical, and a free turkey every Christmas. After 8 years of living in the Costco box and seeing missing everything that my kids were doing, their first steps, their first words, getting only 2 weeks of vacation a year, I decided to go into network marketing and stumbled around for 10 years, going from company for company with shining new object, shining new product. And then finally when I saw Visalus, I realized the one thing you want to look for when you look for a company is a company with heart that you can believe in, ownership that's loyal to everybody that's working it, and a vision that they back up with everything that they say and do. And today we inspire many, many people to not just settle for a job when they have greatness within them.
Like so many young people, I thought that the circumstances that I was born in were supposed to determine my journey through my life. I wanted to be a teacher, and my dear grandmother looked at me and said, "You know what? I can help you get through trade school, but I can't afford to send you to a four-year college." So I searched through books and I figured out what could I do that I could be around people and I could help them. And honestly, guys, I didn't feel I was very smart. I wanted to make money. I wanted to have nice clothes. So I took something called work release through high school. I've never taken algebra. I've never taken a geography class. I took only the bare minimums that I needed to take because I just wanted to make some money. So I figured out I could be a hairdresser. I could go to school in 9 months and make money. And that's what I wanted to do. So I thought I was destined to be a hairdresser, grueling hours, you know, sun up to sundown, behind a chair. It's hard work, guys. And that's what I thought I was born to do and all I could do until I found this.
I was a 12-time IFBB Pro figure champion. I won the Figure Olympia twice, and although I'm very, very proud of all my accomplishments, the life of a competitor is very lonely, it's isolating, and it's a little bit selfish. Although I might have inspired some people with looking good in a bathing suit, I was never changing lives until I found Visalus.
I was raised in a very religious household, and to be successful was pursuing riches, and that wasn't spiritual. So every time I did have a dream, you know, it was always shut, you know, just suppressed. And even though I always had an inner drive inside myself that I wanted to be more, I was never encouraged. So I finally, you know, with only a high school education, I ended up in outside sales for a newspaper. And then I finally decided to stretch out and become a publisher of my own publication. And then realized that I'd really just bought myself a job. And after 6 years of my life being run by deadline after deadline and no vacation in 6 years, even though I felt like I had become successful, I wanted my life back. And thank God that, you know, God has shown me the plan for my life. And Visalus, I'm home now, and I can actually be able to, you know, talk about health, life, health, and prosperity.
22 years in corporate sales. I worked for 3 world manufacturers. I helped sell products that made the biggest buildings in the Southeast. I sold products that got people from point A to point B. I sold products that helped people feel safe when they walked in a building. Beyond the 6 figures and all the sales awards that I received, because I'm a very competitive person, I had no life. My corporate job ran my life. I isolated my family. I didn't have a partner. It ran my life. I lost the passion for being a great son, an amazing athlete in college, a reason just to be who I am. And when I was introduced by Visalus, by this amazing lady, Nick-Sarnicola, passion back in my life that I needed to be reborn, have a rebirth of my second part of my life. Thank God for Visalus.
I used to think the pinnacle of success was climbing the corporate ladder, getting to the top, earning that corporate income and all the stock options and benefits that come along with it. But I realized that there was a much, much better way. I saw people that were entrepreneurs, that were making just as much money, if not more money, than I had been making, but it was on their time. They had their time freedom. They had the ability to build their business with the people that they love, the things that they want to do, go the places where they want to go. And I'm so, so thankful for this opportunity.
In my own pursuit of achievement, of wanting to feel success, I found myself as a financial auditor for a Big 4 public accounting firm. And from the outside, I knew I looked good. You know, my parents were proud, my community was proud, my coworkers thought that that was the way. And I was working 60 hours a week and traveling 60% of the time, and I was comfortable. But it did occur to me that there was an emptiness in my heart, and I had to take a leap of faith. And there was a lot of things in the way of me taking that leap of faith. And I had to just trust. And I found a new industry. And now, with Visalus, I finally found that meaning I was always looking for. I found something that I wake up to, and every single day I know I'm doing what I'm meant to do. And I'm proud of what we do.
I was raised by two amazing parents that more than anything taught me that whatever you do in life, be happy. But there was a lot of pressure because the three siblings before me had multiple degrees, masters, doctorates, and I barely got out of high school. So with such limited education, there wasn't a lot for me to do, and I knew I wanted to travel, have fun. It was years and years that I did that, and while it was a good time, I realized that money is important to be able to support yourself, and more importantly, to be able to do things for other people. I started attending leadership workshops, motivational speeches, and hearing some amazing speakers. And more than anything, I learned that you can think outside the box and absolutely anything is possible.
I grew up in that same box that Blake-Mallen grew up in. I had to go to college. It was what my family expected of me, and I wanted to make my parents proud. But I always knew I wanted to help people, so I chose a profession of social work. And I worked with foster kids in the foster care system. So my caseload was about 50 kids, but I was living at poverty level income. When Luke told me about network marketing, not only did I think it was the dumbest idea in the world, I was actually ashamed to admit that we were involved in the industry. I'm proud to say now that I have a caseload now of thousands of people that I'm touching every day, blessing their lives on a much bigger level than I ever could, and not at poverty level anymore.
I grew up believing that I had to go to college. The expectations and the pressure that my parents put on me. I had to be something that I didn't really want to be. My dad worked for corporate America for 27 years, so that's what I thought that I had to do. Didn't get to see him very much, and my life was the same. I would come home, get up before my kids would get up, come home as the kids were going to bed, not getting to spend time with my family. Thank goodness I was able to find a better way.
I come from a lower middle class family. My mother, when I was 5, had a stroke, lost her speech in her right side, and continued being ill over the years. And when I was 16, I had to quit school so my dad could keep her home and take care of her. I was collecting parts and changing truck tires, so I was 18, got a job in a factory making toilet paper tubes for about a year and a half. And then I got into the car business and worked really hard and worked my way up. But what I realized as I worked my way up, I wasn't changing lives, and I was working 70 hours a week. And this suit actually sent me dead. And my life was going nowhere. And then Visalus came into our life in 18 months. We've changed a lot of lives. It's changed our life. What I love about Visalus is we can go from town to town, change the economy in that town, and help a lot of hurting people.
My grandparents lived paycheck to paycheck, my parents lived paycheck to paycheck, and I wanted a better way for my family. And I thought I had to go to a great college and get a great job. And so I went to a great college and I got that great job. Only it wasn't so great. I had to get up from an alarm clock every single morning. I was told what time I could be at work, what time I could leave, what shoes I could and couldn't wear, what clothes I could and couldn't wear, when I could use my cell phone, when I could be sick, when I could use the bathroom, when I could go on vacation twice a year, if nobody else was going on vacation at the same time. The only goals that I had were the ones that my boss gave me. I was undervalued. I was never praised, never recognized, but always, condemned for anything that I did if I was 5 minutes late. So I am so thankful to find an industry where I can get up when I'm done sleeping, when I can go pick my kids up early from school, when I can be sick when I'm sick, when I can go on vacation, when I can set goals and be taught to dream bigger and bigger, when I can give myself a raise whenever I want. And pajamas are no longer called pajamas in my household, they're called office attire. I lived this script from the time I was small. Always was taught to go to school, get my degree, go get that MBA, thinking I'd have job security in the future. Only to find out after giving 8 years of my life to a company to be let go when I was 5 months pregnant with our second child, and my world came tumbling down. And now I can be a mom, I can be a wife, and I can help so many others do the exact same thing with Visalus.
Having been raised in an environment of ministry and social service, I chose to go into the social work profession. However, even after graduating both high school and college with honors, I still found myself working 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Then I discovered the world of entrepreneurship. Because of this, now I have the honor of being a full-time mom to my 3 teenage daughters, and I have the joy of being able to work with self-motivated people who are focused on their goals and touching the lives of others, instead of people who just come to see me because of a court order.
My childhood dream is I wanted to be a pilot, and I went to aviation school, was on my way until 9/11 happened, had over $150,000 in student loans, and I got into marketing, a job that would never amount to enough money to ever get me out of the mountain of debt that I created. I met my wife and she got pregnant and I'd be traveling a month at a time. I became marketing director of the American Grand Prix. I put on equestrian horse shows. And my job was to fill stadiums. But I'd be gone a month at a time. And I didn't want to be a father that would be away from his kids. And now with Visalus, I get to fill stadiums, not to entertain people, but to impact their lives. Thank you, Visalus.
I graduated high school, and I was the person that was too afraid to admit that they didn't want to go to university because I was scared I would fail. So I like to work out, and I ended up at the gym, and a guy asked me if I should work there. So I said, okay. I ended up working really, really hard, 12, 14-hour days. And the one thing I was passionate about, health and fitness, was on the back burner. I no longer was working out, I was just working with that individual. Soon, you're tired. Ryan and I never had a vacation because we needed to trade our time for money. And then I started realizing the people that were coming to that gym weren't the people that needed my help. It was the people that were too afraid even to walk through those doors. So we were introduced to Visalus. We were $100,000 in debt, and we were not eating healthy, and we were not helping anyone. Thanks to Visalus, that debt is gone. I get to work out in a gym that I love, and now we get to help so many people, and the people
and inspire them to walk through that door at the gym now.